All right. Hello. Welcome to Awaken Your Spirit. My name is Bridget Harrington. Today I am introducing Danielle Matthews. I have recently got the opportunity to meet with Danielle and find out a little bit more about her. And I am just so glad you're here with me. I appreciate your time. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's fun to be here, and I'm happy to come on and share a little bit. So, a little background on me. My degree's in biology. Out of school, I taught for a little while, and then I had a really severe car accident that took my life in a very different direction. I ended up with a brain injury, and was just trying to get myself healthy for several years, and came across the ASEA redox, this technology you see there, and of course, it's always over my shoulder as well. And that changed my world, brought me back from injury. Doctors told me I wouldn't get better from. And once I got my health back, I just thought, wow, like I'm in a position to help a lot of other people learn about this breakthrough. And so it's been about 8 years that I've been using this technology myself, about 7 years that I've been sharing it with others. And Bridget, I've watched the most amazing things happen. I work with people around the world. I haven't seen a health challenge yet that this hasn't touched in some way, shape, or form. And so it's really a privilege to work with it on a daily basis. And I'm really happy it's found its way to you too.
Me too. I'm so grateful for this stuff, honestly. And that's why it's important to have people like you come on here and explain it a little better because I'm still in the understanding and learning process of it all. But I'd like to know, like, how you came across it. Like, like, I know you had the brain injury.
Yeah.
Who introduced it to you?
So my mom, she used to own a yoga studio in Annapolis, Maryland. And through that, she really met a wonderful network of different practitioners and people in the more, alternative space that looked at health a little bit differently. And so when my car accident happened, we went to Western medicine. We asked the neurologists, several of them, what do we do? How can this be supported? They didn't really have a lot of answers. They kind of said it's a wait and see with brain injury. There's nothing you can do. And, they told me maybe it'll clear in a month. Then they said 3, then they said 6. And actually my neurologist at 1 year told me it was my new normal. And he said, your body's done the healing it will do, and you need to shape your life around this. And I thought, you're fired. There's no way this is going to be my normal. But I was really blessed that my mom had this other network of people. And so, we were kind of tapping into them. They got me access to hyperbaric oxygen treatment, to neurobiofeedback. I did cranial sacral work. We changed my diet. I was supplementing with so many different nutritionals. And those things helped a little. I'd say if I'd been a 10 out of 10 when the accident happened, maybe a year of doing those things, I was like an 8 out of 10. So it was like, it helped, but I wasn't better. I still couldn't work. I couldn't focus. I was dealing with really severe pounding in my head. Couldn't handle light, couldn't handle noise. And one of my mom's old students called her and said, listen, I've started using something in my practice. She's an acupuncturist. And she said, it's like nothing I've ever seen. Every single one of my clients is benefiting. She said, but each of them from something different. This seems to just go in and stimulate the cells to communicate more effectively so they can find damage and repair. And she said, it doesn't seem to matter if the cell that's damaged is in the digestive system, it's in the liver, it's in the lungs. She said, I have every reason to believe it could pass the blood-brain barrier and help Danielle. And so that's how this was really brought to me. And I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical. My mom brought it home. And, Bridget, I don't know what your thoughts were when you saw this, but the back of the bottle says that it's water and sodium chloride. And I was like, Mom, you just bought salt water from this woman. What are you doing? And I think that's everyone's initial response, right? Because we're so trained to look at a label, what are the ingredients? But here's what I came to learn was that the body sources making different molecules from saline. So the body is like incredible, right? In its elegance. Like it goes and it says, okay, I need hydrogen and oxygen, maybe to make hydrogen peroxide, right? H2O2. So it goes, well, water is H2O. So it can disassemble and reassemble the hydrogens and oxygens to make what it needs. Same with salt, sodium and chloride, right? So you can make hydrochloride. You grab hydrogen and you grab a chloride and you put them together. So that's what the body's doing all the time. And that's why this company, and I kind of jumped ahead a whole bunch, but that's why they source it from the same thing, saline, because that's what you need. Foundationally, you need those 4 building blocks. And then you can make any combinations that you want, 2 to 4 atoms big, different molecules, and they all have different roles in the body. And that's what's sitting in that bottle, right? What's sitting in there is no longer saline. It's these reductants and oxidants, right? Negatively and positively charged molecules that as soon as they hit something organic, they go to work. And so that acupuncturist, what she had seen in her practice was just a microcosm of now what I've seen over the last, 7 years with thousands of people. And that is, you drink this, these molecules go into your system, your body recognizes it as if your body made it, and it helps your body identify where you have damage. And therefore, it does something different in everyone. And so it makes it sound a little too good to be true. Totally get it. But when you look at like why it's working, it makes sense. Like, oh, it's just helping my body find where it's damaged. It's helping my body turn back on things within my cells that have been turned off. It's putting our genes back on. It's helping our antioxidants switch back on. Like, it's huge when we can get our system doing what it's supposed to do. So it took me about 6 months, I'll be honest, from when we got the phone call about this. I was so skeptical. I was like, it's BS. I did like a quick Google search and I saw something on the internet that said it was a scam. There was a lot of good stuff on the internet, right? But then I saw that.
Right.
Oh, look, see? It's like we look for the thing. So funny how we are. But thankfully, my mom and my dad were using it because they had bought it. And my mom, I don't know if you know anybody, Bridget, with like joint stuff, but my mom had bone on bone in her hands. So she couldn't even make a fist. And she was in a lot of discomfort. Like just moving the covers off of her in the morning would like send shudders down her. It was that uncomfortable. And she started drinking the ASEA. Literally within 6 weeks, she got full range of motion. Like her hands were moving like there was no issue. And they looked less uncomfortable. And she said they were less uncomfortable. She was like, my hands are starting to feel like they did when I was younger. And that got my dad's attention. I thought it was a placebo. My dad started using it on his knee or for his knee because he'd had an issue with his knee from playing college football. And literally within 10 days, his knee was feeling better. And he's the first one that noticed his like ability to repair after workouts. And like he was doing more, his stamina was up in his workouts. And he was like, time out, what's the research on this stuff? Because this is phenomenal for any athlete.
Oh, wow. That's exactly what I've experienced. First of all, I'm a yoga teacher, so I find that really, really cool. I know. It's just so funny how, these connections are made. So I've been telling everybody at my yoga studio, and, some of them have, got it, and some of them are skeptical. I was also skeptical. So I think that's normal. For us, we're trained to think that way. But I kind of was in a position of, looking in the more holistic way and alternative ways, and then taking my health into my own hands. And I've tried a lot. So my issue was like gut issues, and skin issues. So since I've started ASEA, I've seen great results. And also the less lactic acid, also more stamina, really just reaching different internal breakthroughs inside of me when it comes to like working out, because that's something I just never did growing up. I went running recently, and like really I'm not a runner, but I'm going to be a runner now. I've decided. So I'm going to start that. So it's just amazing, this stuff. And I was going to ask you, because I saw something on your Facebook, and I was looking at your Facebook about Bruce Lipton. Oh, yeah. So did you get to talk about this with him?
So he had an event, him and Michael Beckwith, who I adore. And we had a booth there. There was only one booth at the event. And we were there talking about cell signaling and quantum healing technology. And so it was really fun because, Bruce and I were talking about it. And he said, Danielle, first of all, inside of the sessions, he was talking about the power of signaling. He said, if your cells didn't signal, you'd be dead. Like the only reason you're alive is because your cells are signaling. And he talks about how the membrane of the cell is everything. And it's the signal that gets picked up that then allows for anything within the cell to be signaled to turn on or do whatever it's supposed to do. And so he was talking about the power of cell signaling. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been talking about for
Exactly.
And he said to me, he said, with this technology, with the ASEA, he said, if people hold it in their mouth and set the intention for what they want it to repair, he said, you will magnify the impact of this, because thoughts are things, and thoughts are so powerful. And that's a lot of what Bruce's work is all about. I mean, if you guys haven't read his work, Biology of Belief is amazing. It's like heavy science, but it's so good. It just opens you up to this like revolution that's happening in biology, and like where we've gotten things wrong in the past and what we now know to be true. And it's incredible how our thoughts impact our physiology, our biology. And anyway, so that was amazing to get to have that conversation and have him understand that. And Michael Beckwith, I've sent him some of the ASEA so he can get started on it as well. And it's just, it's such a powerful thing. I think the awareness of it has been so limited. I mean, this is not new. Like ASEA has been around for 13 years. It's just that it's a category creator. And when you have a disruptive, innovative technology, it takes time for the masses to jump on. It's this law of, I think it's called the distribution of information with the disruptive technology. I forget the exact name. It might come to me, but it's like a bell curve. Okay, so when you have something like when Uber came out, you had these people that jumped in that were like, oh my God, this is genius, right? But then there was a gap before the masses also took into it. Like I remember a friend of mine saying to me, oh, like, I'm not going to get you from the airport, Danielle, like just get an Uber. And I was like, I'm not getting in the backseat of some random person's car. Like, no, get me. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, I got an Uber. So it takes time for it to be adopted. And there's always this phase before the masses jump in. And with ASEA, it is a disruptive technology. And this gap had to be filled. Like you had people jump in, some that just are like on the precipice of the best things in health, right? Like Ann Louise Gittleman, this woman has written, she's like the first lady of nutrition. She's written dozens of books on it. She was at the forefront of this. She like updated all her books to include redox. She's like, yeah, this is it. This is like where things are going, where the puck's going on the ice, for the future of how we can help our bodies to heal themselves. And this is a woman that's been in the nutritional space for decades. Now she's saying, well, this is it. This is the missing link in so many ways. And then you had other people like myself that were just desperate, right? Like I had looked at all my other options and finally was like, well, I have nothing to lose here, right? I've tried everything else. Let's try this. And so those people jumped in, but there was this gap that had to be filled before the masses started learning. And it's interesting. I think I'm feeling like a tipping point starting to happen where, now I'm talking to people and they say, well, wait a second, I heard about this years ago, but I kind of wrote it off. And it's like, ASEA is not going anywhere. I really believe this blue bottle that's at both of our houses will be at every single person's house. Like if people knew what we knew, Bridget, they'd be all over it. They'd be knocking our door down to get it. But like, they don't know what we know. And it's so different because you can't place it into like a nutritional or an antioxidant or, stem cells or all these other things that we know, right? Essential oils. Like it's not, all those things are helpful, of course. This is not any of that. It's like, those are like materials, that the body needs. And this is the labor force. These are the workers. All of a sudden you get more workers on the job site. Like there's no downside to that. It's going to get done easier and the maintenance will be better, right? That's what I look at with the body. It's like, it's absolutely incredible with what we have our hands on. And I don't know, have you played around with the gel at all?
Oh yeah, that's what sold me, because my dad, he was on ASEA first for like, I want to say 9 months now. And he was telling me about it. And like we do, we just dismiss things, focusing on other things, not really buying into what he was saying. But he had given me a couple sample bottles and I had this reoccurring rash for 2 years on my hand. And nothing would help it. Everything. I tried everything. Nothing would help it. It got to the point where I stopped even trying to do anything for it because it would either burn, it would hurt, or it would come back worse. So I literally tried kinesiology, like energy healing. I tried like everything. I couldn't figure out what it was. So I had a sample bottle of the renew on my nightstand that I just got desperate one day because it started flaring up and it started itching. And when it starts itching and flaring up, I get like mentally messed up. And so I just put it on. I was like, it's going to burn anyway. And the first thing that I noticed, I was like, it didn't burn. Like, that actually feels relieving. Like, that's the first thing I ever put on my hand that didn't burn. So then I used it again and again because my dad told me to use it 3 times. And the next day I woke up, it prevented the rash from flaring up or coming up, and I couldn't believe it. So I called my dad and was like, hey, what is this stuff again? And so he told me, he's like, you got to start drinking it. And I was like, all right, I'll drink it. And then from there, I noticed so many things happening. And it was really cool and really validating because before I ever decided I was going to talk about this or like get involved with other people talking about it, I started explaining my experience of what I was feeling from it, like little subtle changes in my memory and just like my focus and like everything that I was trying to put into words. Like, I finally, after getting involved with other people talking about it, they told me go look at the testimonials, and I did. And I was like, they're saying exactly what I was experiencing. That's really cool. That was like feedback to me, like, all right, you're onto something, and you should keep going in this direction. And then I just happened to get aligned and be put in this training with Jay, and I was totally like, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to do it, because I had a bad taste in my mouth about this kind of stuff in the first place from past experiences. But here I am, because honestly, like, why not? It really has helped me so much. And now I have all this extra like laser beam focus that I need to put it into something.
Yeah.
And the universe couldn't be more clear. It's like, hello, right here.
You sound like me. It's like, my parents being like, Danielle, this stuff is great. Danielle, I'm sitting right here. Danielle, take it. And I'm like, no. Yeah. Finally, like, desperate to try it. And it's interesting because I had the same resistance. We can talk about this for a minute. You can only get ASEA through a rep. Like, you can't buy this off the store shelf, and please God, don't go to Amazon. Like, if you want this, text Bridget, talk to her, have a consult about it. The stuff that gets put up on Amazon is like expired product. It's not allowed to be sold that way. So be conscious about where you're getting it if you're listening to this and you want it. But I want to explain why you can only get it through a rep. This is something that, this technology, the patents for it were going to be sold to a pharmaceutical company back in like 2008. And that negotiation process, they got down and they said that one of the last pieces of negotiation was, look, the beta test group you have on it and your production will need to stop when you go through with the sale. And the gentleman in charge, his name was Norton, he said, morally, I can't do that. He said, I think it's a little harsh. I can't look in the eyes of some of these people and tell them they can't have this anymore. Like, they're only still with us because how this is supporting their health. And the company said, it's not on you. We'll figure out an option. And this is how it's going to be. It's part of the deal. And he said, no. He said, I can't morally go through with that. And he walked away. And I think the essence that something starts with, like that kind of integrity, that's a beautiful seed to start something, because he said, this is something humanity needs, and I'm going to figure out a way to get it to them. And so he spent a lot of time trying to figure out what's the best route to bring something like this to market. And he landed on word of mouth, because people have no context for redox. They don't know what it is. They don't know how it works. It looks like saline. If someone doesn't explain to you, no, it's sourced. Like, we just need the hydrogen and oxygen, and sodium chloride. People don't get it. And so that's why it comes through a representative, because education is required, even with how to take the product properly and how to use it. If you look at the gel, you might think it's cosmetic. You might think it's just wrinkles, right? Because that's what the research is on. But we know, like your experience, put it on anything that's, an irritant on the skin. If you've got discomfort, right, put it on your muscles. 3 applications in 5 minutes. Let us know how you feel after that. Like, there's so many things to do with this. So you have to get it through a rep. But it's interesting because a lot of people have like programming around the industry of direct sales, network marketing. Like, we have this program running that says, like, that's a dirty word. You should things like that. And it's so interesting because my mom was the one that was like, Danielle, I think that you're meant to share this. Like, look at what, like, your life has uniquely prepared you, right? You've got a biology degree, you know how to educate, you've had this amazing result with this. And I was like, no, I that's like a sleazy thing to do. And then I got pushed because it was like, well, based on what?
Right.
Like, And I was thinking, I was like, I have actually no direct experience with the industry, none at all. I don't actually really get it. People say pyramid scheme, but I don't even really know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I said, just come and learn, run it through your own truth center and see if this is, something you'd resonate with. And I did. I went to an event. I was on the edge of my seat for 8 hours listening to the founder's son, Tyler Norton, speak. He co-founded this with his dad. And I thought, wow, these people are talking about serving others, being present for what people, need, doing what's best for them, having an attitude of gratitude, being a force for good, keeping people and principles above ego and above economics. And I was like, this is not what I was expecting, and I thought, this is something that resonates with my soul. There's a fire in me now that this is something I'm meant to share. And so my passion has just gone through this, and it's been incredible. The people that I've met, because the right people get attracted to work with this, and the community of people from all over, right? Look at all the resonance you and I have.
Right.
It's incredible people that get drawn into work with this. So that community is huge. And it's not just within your own organization. It's I know people from, across Europe and Australia and Singapore, and my network has gotten so large. And that's going to benefit me for the rest of my life, right? I travel. I'm going to have friends all over the world now. There's so many beautiful pieces to being involved with something like this. And I haven't seen a downside, right? Except that you have to deal with other people's opinions of something that they actually don't really understand fully. So you have to kind of get through that. But it's well, I had to get it through it too. So I have compassion for that.
Right. Exactly. I totally understand. So yeah, I'm at this place where it doesn't matter, because my experience is my experience. And also it's helped so many people. So why not open my mouth and get it into the consciousness of this planet? Because I think that is where we're headed, and everyone should know about this, and everyone should at least give it a try. I just think that there's a shift happening, due to TikTok and social media, really social media, that people are not so much listening to the commercials you hear on TV anymore, right? And those are all the pharmaceutical companies that get those commercials. ASEA is not going to get a slot on the TV, right? But ASEA has affected and, touched people's lives. And so we could do our part on sharing that message with other people. And I think that pyramid schemes are now looked at in a different way. It was giving an opportunity to just an average person, a single mother of 2 children, to possibly make this into a career for myself by just sharing my experience. I've seen that happen with so many people, and people I know personally. So why not me, right?
Exactly. You just got to make the decision. And I think, I don't know if you've read the book, or you guys listening to it, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's that book. I read that right after I went to my first event with ASEA, and it just blew my mind open to what it means to be an entrepreneur, to step out, and how beautiful the network marketing industry is as a space to learn these skills, right? And you earn while you learn. It's incredible. You don't have the investments that so many other businesses require that are it's a hurdle that a lot of people can't get over. This anybody can access, and it fits around your life, and there's no pressure other than you decide what you want to create, so there's so much beauty to this that people they miss because they've been programmed with this stuff that's actually not serving them. And for me, I lost my health at 23, and I lost the ability to work. And that was one of the most traumatic things, was that I literally couldn't earn. And I didn't know when I was going to be able to again, because my health was bad. And when I got my health back, I remember thinking to myself, I have to find a way to have an income stream that can continue even if I can't show up to work, because everything I'd done up to that point was time for money, right? I showed up, I got paid X amount. And that's how I had been taught, go to school, get a good job, get paid well. Well, then I couldn't work. Then what? So I was look, there's got to be something where you can create passive income. And I didn't know, it sounded so outlandish to me at the time. I'm how? No one had ever told me that. But then I saw this industry and I went, oh my God, I can do this. Because if something happens to me, you're still going to drink ASEA. Right? And I'm going to make a percentage of that because I was part of the lineage that got it to you. And so this to me has just been security. And I try to tell everybody, look, you never know what's going to unfold in life, and you should have multiple streams coming into you. because one might get turned off, and that's okay, because now you have another one that you can look at. And if nothing else, I think that's a really important thing that people take home to understand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I wanted to ask you, so do you travel and talk about ASEA? Is that part of what you do too?
I've gotten to, well, like when people want to get groups together, I'll come and do events. I'm going out, like there's another event with Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza in January out in San Diego. So I'll be going there again to have a table to talk about redox signaling and just educate everybody about that. So yeah, it's fun.
Wow, that's incredible. I love all three of them. So that's amazing. You get a chance to talk to them about ASEA?
To everybody at the conference. So I'm there as part of what, those that are coming in to listen to everybody also get.
Right. Oh my God. Amazing.
Yeah,
I love
I'm
this.
excited.
Yeah, please let me know how that goes.
I will. I certainly will.
Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we ended?
I would say, guys, if you're listening to this and something resonated, like reach out to Bridget. We're all about education. We're really blessed. Also, we have a lot of doctors we work with that there's like 4 times throughout the week. You can get on, you can learn from them, you can directly ask them questions, and really kind of dive deeper with the experts on this. And at the end of the day, this really does something different for everyone. So let's just see what it brings you, how it can support your health, how you can have the best vitality. And even if you're healthy, it takes you to a whole nother level. It's just something that just keeps you in this beautiful space and vibration where, it's like stuff just rolls off me. Like I'm incredibly happy. Like that's what it's been for me. People ask me all the time, well, why do you still take it? If your injury is gone. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is helping me be a version of me that I didn't know I could access. Mm-hmm. So, the website can be a little confusing. Like let Bridget navigate you through it, have a consult with her. And I hope to see you on the other side. I can't wait to see the impact that you have, Bridget, on other lives.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. That was very helpful. And I hope anyone that's listening, like she said, please reach out. My phone number is on there. I would love to talk about this and maybe we can help you get started. So thank you. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks.
Bye.